sometimes we misconstrue what education is about. When we say education, is not about Western education. It's not about formal education. Education is about acquiring knowledge, and knowledge could be handicraft or any other thing apart from the Western education that we talk about. And so I am just entreating every youth out there to educate ourselves, be it Western education, Arabic education, and whatever education that you can get yourself, into. It is going to help you a lot, because at the end of the day, without education, without knowledge, without anything doing, you would end up being a cyber fraudster, you would end up being an armed robber, you would end up doing something that the society abhors, and that is going to be what is putting our society in a particular tangent that is not palatable. So please, wherever we find ourselves, let's educate ourselves every day. I once met a professor who said every day he tries to read something, even if it is just a paragraph. And that is how he always refreshes his mind, and that is how he always ensures that he gets himself educated on new things. And trust me, we would always learn, and until the day that you die. And in fact, even on your deathbed, you would learn, because that is the day you get to know how it is to die. You never would know until you get to that point. In fact, when they put you in your grave, you would learn. And so learning is there, and all the time we need to keep learning. Let's not be complacent about the little bit that we have. Let's keep upgrading ourselves, and trust me, society will be a better place for all of us. We go for a very quick commercial break on this. I come back pretty shortly, and then we continue with the show. My name remains Abdul Jalil Nabdeli. Be back shortly. Alright, I thank you so very much for keeping faith with me here on my Northern Achiever on the Sagani Tv. My name is Abdul Jalil Nabdeli, and today, like I said before, a very, very great person, and we are going to have to learn a lot from him. He's an educationist, he's a media person, he's so many things, and we'll get to learn about how he got to this level and where you even want to get further, because for these people, they are never tired of success. But before we get into the conversation and introducing my guest, I'd love to acknowledge the fact that about a few weeks ago I spoke about a laptop that we wanted for our program. Indeed, nobody actually minds us, but we have been able to acquire for ourselves a very brand new laptop, and we want to acknowledge Elite Computers, Satellite and Computers, for doing us such a wonderful favor in getting us this fine laptop that I have here with me. And so thank you so much, Elite Computers. And if you also want a very nice laptop here in Tamale and beyond, please get to Elite Computers. They are on the Agric Road off the Tamale Boyga Road, close to the former Tamale Metro Assembly. I'll give you their numbers pretty shortly so that you can also call them and get yourself a very nice laptop. Today I am with, like I said, an educationist, a media person, and so the name is quite, some way be, but I usually only remember Benaku, and so, sir, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you.
I would love you to mention the name yourself so that I don't murder the name and get myself into trouble. So, how is the name pronounced?
Yeah, the name is Gabriel Binaku.
Okay, Gabriel
Binaku.
Gabriel is simple, but Gabriel and Binaku is something else. But
those are indigenous names.
Yes. So
anybody anybody who is from Jirapa will know where I'm from. Anybody who is from the Upper West would know the name BL is a particular area within the Jirapa municipality. So I'm from the Upper West. Dure to be precise.
How many languages do you speak?
Oh,
from the Upper West, the indigenous languages.
Those I used to speak 5 when I was in the secondary school. But now I can do better with the Twi, the Dagari, and English. But now I can't grab the Dagbani well because Dagari and Wala. Wala and the guy are just like fancy and key.
When I was in UDS,
yeah,
I was in Danko, you know, and it's an indigenous area, and so I mingled a lot with the Indians.
Yes.
I could speak in some level of
Wala, yes.
Now I've taken on
exactly.
when I don't have somebody like
exactly.
But now let's come to talking about yourself. You know, you are such a great personality on a very low key. For those of us who have monitored your moves from afar, can understand what you are doing. Not too many people actually know. But let's begin from where you started from as a human being. Where were you born? How was life growing up? What are some of the experiences you had as a child that has helped you to become who you are today?
Yes, I was born in Duri. Duri is a very strategic and popular name in the Upper West. That's my traditional home. Some 49 years ago, and my parents resettled in a community they call Nanti in the Kintampo municipality. So I actually grew up in Kintampo from elementary school. Then I came back to secondary school in Ghana school. So I'm an Oga.
Good Ghana school.
Yes. And then from Ghana school, actually I was a science student. And then I'm Oga 95. So after Ghana school, I went back to Kintampo and I went to the Rural Development College. It was a local government college that was training social workers into social work. Because in Ghana school I didn't get all my science subjects. And then I had some life challenges then. I had an accident, so I couldn't really write the science subjects. So I was advised to move into the social sciences. So but my vision was to be a doctor, a medical doctor, not a PhD. So I went to the Rural Development College, and after that I was posted to Kintampo, where I actually grew up as with the community development. Then I joined World Vision in the in the mid 90s. That was around 97, 98. That I was still a student in 10, but I joined them in 2000. I exited and joined another NGO in Kumasi. So much of my life has been in the Brown Ahafo and the Ashanti region. So I had the opportunity to educate myself in 6 public universities in Ghana.
And so all this education that you got, were they degree, masters? Or
yes, they are mixed. That's what I'm saying. I had a way to move in this.
I believe we will come to talk a lot more about your education.
Exactly.
So far as this conversation is concerned.
However,
I would like us to talk a little more about your childhood.
Yes.
Because trust me, it is how we were raised helps to make us who we are today. You know, what kind of upbringing did you get, especially in view of the fact that you had moved from the Upper West to the Ashanti region? It's a different environment altogether, different cultures. How were you able to transition an Upper West person to an Ashanti region person? How was life within the family?
The first 15 years of a child, if proper care is not taken, then the child becomes not very profitable to society. And after 30 years of my research, I noticed that we have been missing the early training of children, so they grow up and miss the social connections in life, so they don't behave well, and they become cheats, and they are corrupt, they engage into unhelpful things. I grew up in a family that projected care, sharing, humility. in all aspects of my life. So I actually didn't get it from even the church. I didn't get it from school, but I got it from my family values. My father was he was a traditionalist, he was a disciplinarian, he was a chief, and as royal, I have the opportunity to come from two royals. Okay. My mother is from the royal game, married to my father from.
Who's also from the royal game.
Yeah, so we grew up to see that as a polygamous family, everybody cares for the other. Yeah. So there's no quarrel. My father had two wives, no quarrel. I grew up with my stepmother, not my mother. Okay. I grew up with my siblings. When I was working, I rather took my other mother's children, yeah, to train them in Kumasi, not my real brothers and sisters. Yeah. So that care, that sharing principles, that humility that was created consciously by my parents really molded me to be who I am today. And my father, who was very, very strict about my future, may his soul rest in perfect peace. But anytime I think about how he trained me, and I say, may the Almighty continue to keep him in the wisdom of the Lord, because he was very frank about how I should become, and he worked to protect me, to ensure that I grow up to become how I should be valuable to society. So I'm taking this opportunity to tell parents and caregivers to be very frank and very protective of their children, because whatever you do at the early stage is what they will grow up to become with.
Wow. I love this, and whatever you do at the early stage of a child's life is what they would grow up to become. And so I believe this is a very big lesson for all of us, especially those of us who are young fathers and young mothers, young parents, so to speak. We can try to correct the wrongs that our parents did so that we can have a better society. You said something about you missing out on some of the subjects.
Yeah.
Today there are a lot of students out there who write their WASI and they are able to make the required grades, to send them to the tertiary institutions. Now, how did you feel that you were unable to get all the subjects, and how did you persevere to get into the social sciences, yet you were able to get to this level in life?
Yeah, like I said, the way my father trained me, I was very humble, I was very intelligent. In fact, from class 1 to Form 4, I was always first. It was only one in class 4 that my former teacher did some clue and gave the marks to the one who was always second to be first. Okay. And I wept. So I was very intelligent, very humble, and the way I was trained, I care for everybody. So the elders in the community like me. So I actually grew up and working with elders from childhood till even after secondary school. I was always working with elders in the community. So when I wrote Ghana school and the results came and I didn't get the passes that I was required, especially the elective one, yes, chemistry and biology in particular, and I had accident after SS. So the accident really put me into a very bad situation. So one parent who was then working with the Kintampo district, he's called Mr. Kuma, he's still alive, he's over 80 years now. He came and told my father that your boy is intelligent, don't let the accident spoil his career. He cannot prepare to write the science as he would have wished to become a doctor, but he can do something in the social sciences. So I know of a school he can attend to become a social worker, and then later on he can do whatever he wants to do. So my father agreed. So he took me to Accra. We went and wrote the entrance exam, and I qualified. So when I qualified, we were given admission. And those days, when you finish training, straight away they take you to the local government for you to start with.
Yeah.
So I started my career as community development officer in the Kintampo, as I said earlier. Then later on, I moved to Kumasi. It was Kumasi I discovered that I can still make use of my social science. So I started educating myself at the Workers College, University of Ghana. And then I also started educating myself at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And then after those degrees, I went to University of Cape Coast. That was around 2005-07 when they introduced what we call organization development. So we were the early batch students who went to study the MSc, MA organization development, and I had the opportunity to discover the whole world. I got to know that we were kept in a cage. I got to know that our tertiary education system has a lot of challenges, and because I was working, I was always very innovative, try not to follow the normal academic kind of. So I had problem with some of the professors early on, but when they got to know that I was already a working professional before I came to do the program, some of them understood me, but others still had problem with me.
To approach.
So I when I finished University of Cape Coast, I had already gotten connection to go to the US. Yes. Wow. So before that, I had been to Germany. When I went to KNUST, they introduced a program they call the Spring Program. That's a program they converted to the planning. The planning faculty of KNUST was Spring. It was a professional certificate program that was converted into BSc planning and MSc development planning. So I had been to Germany and came, and I already had a fair idea about the different model the developed economics has vis-a-vis our developing countries. So after US, I decided that I will start a university.
Wow. And this is where the conversation is going to get interesting. Very, very interesting times ahead on this particular show today, because this big man here has a university, CCOD, and we will come and talk a lot more about that university, what their vision and mission is, and how far they have come and where they want to get the institution to. But we'll go for a very quick commercial break on this note. We come back and then we'll continue with this particular conversation. Remember to tell a friend to tell another that my Northern Achieva is on, and we are getting to the most interesting parts of it. We'll be back shortly after this break. I thank you once more for staying with me on my Northern Achieva Sagani Tv. If you just joined, we are with Mr. Gabriel Benaku. Benaku. I'm trying to get the name well.
Yeah.
And so, I would want to say that wherever you are, you want a computer to buy, be it a desktop, a laptop, Core i3, Core i7, Core i5, dual core, quad core, whatever core you want. With a very, very good processor, good RAM, and others. Please remember, Elite Computers is the place to be. And even they do DSTV, satellites, and any other like multi-TV and others. Call them on 0247 806083. 0247 806083. Elite laptops and computers and satellites as well will always be there for you. And remember, if you have dirty clothes that you want to wash and make them look as new as you bought them, there's one laundry service here in Kambali that is doing very well. It is in Kuku, around Kuku last stop, and you can always get the best from them. Although Express laundry services is what I'm talking about. Like what I'm wearing is old, but trust me, when they wash it and iron it, it looks very new. Call them wherever you are; they will get you. They'll get to you and pick the clothes, go and wash them and bring them back to you at a very, very low rate on 050-50-40033. 050-50-40033. I'm not a part of what you do to you. You also will part of the laundry captain. All right, so we are going to continue with the conversation here with Mr. Benaku. And let's take it like this. You went to several universities, and I would want us to take it bit by bit. How, from which school to which school to which school to where you stopped as of now. And then I'll ask you the next question as whether you want to go further or you are content with what you have now.
Wow, I'm still schooling. Okay. I'm doing my second PhD.
Okay.
Yes, I'm still schooling in a different field. I want to understand that field.
Okay.
So I'll continue to study.
Okay.
And I'm learning. I'm a researcher, so I'm creating curriculum for the Ghanaian youth. So I will continue to study and create something.
Wow! Even after the PhD.
Yes, it's life is full of learning. It's only a fool who doesn't change his mind.
Wow.
Yes, if you are a very useful person in society, you need to be changing to respond to the society need. Yes, so I did organization development as my PhD, and I've used it to develop a university and a curriculum over the last 10 years. I've produced more than 500 graduates, and now we want to expand. We want to reach over 10,000 graduates pass out with technology. So it's full of learning. From the Rural Development College, I had the opportunity to do a certificate program at KNUST.
Okay.
And then I did education, those distance education with the University of Ghana. So that gave me the opportunity to be able to do my master's as UCC.
Okay.
Yes. In between that, I also did some 2 courses at GIMPA at different years. That time GIMPA was emerging, so we wanted to be part of the success story of GIMPA. So I went there to learn local economic development. I went there to learn project management. I went there to learn private sector development and advocacy. Then I went back to University of Ghana again at the distance education unit to learn about youth and development. And so I keep on exploring all this to be informed about what is happening. Then my own UDS, I have a lot of stories about UDS.
Okay.
We were those who started with the program that was turned into the integrated development studies. Yes, and then after that, when I introduced the OD, I decided to also educate myself again, so that I will understand the UDS system at the graduate level. Then I'll understand the undergraduate level. Then I'll understand the other models that the other universities are using. And then I learned more at UCC for the 2 years I was there, and find out what is UCC model, what is UDS model, what is University of Ghana model, what is GIMPA's model, and how can I get benefit from all this. So within that period, I was managing an NGO. I will talk about that.
Yes. The
NGO Gabriel to the university. I will talk about that. So within those periods, every money I was making, I was investing into education. So as I mentioned,
as in educating yourself.
Yes, every money I was making as a young person, I was taking of my siblings, because I'm the breadwinner in my family. Okay. I was taking of all my siblings, and then I was educating myself as well. So at a point, I had about 11 people in the university, including me.
And you are the one.
Yes, they are all my direct siblings. My father had 2 wives, so all of them were my siblings. And then I condition my mind that before they will become responsible citizens, then I would have finished educating myself, not knowing that there was more to be explored. So the more I educate myself, the more I want to get other certificates. So fortunately, I have about 7 of them now who are on their own. 3 of them are working with me directly with the university. Then others have joined civil service or other organizations. So I had the experience to school in 6 public universities in Ghana. Now when I finished UCC, I noticed that the OD was limited in Ghana.
When you say OD, for the
organization development, organization development is a new field. It's a behavior science. It's beyond the normal management studies or the normal development practice. OD is much in depth because it uses the approach of reflection, facilitation, and reasoning deeply than all the other behavior sciences or other development model. So I wanted to explore more about OD, and that's how I went to the US. So when I went to the US, I did the certified program. In Ghana, America, they are more focused on professional development. In Ghana, we will say it's an MA. So I did the 1-year certified program, and I was certified as organization development certified consultant. And so, like the Chartered Institute of Accounting or Marketing, that was I got chartered in the field of organization development. So every year, alumni from this Institute of Organization Development where I attended, we will meet in the US or any parts of the world to discuss about how the field is growing because it's a new field. So in 2011, I was in the US, and we had the opportunity to do the conference in a public university. Like you come to UDA, International Conference Center. 11 universities were operating in one roof. And no problem. So I told myself, I went to 6 public universities in Ghana. Even this department and this department, sometimes they have challenges. And then
they have 11 universities under
one roof, and they are peaceful. So I said, wow, what kind of model are we teaching in Africa? That we are always pointing to the negatives of ourselves rather than looking inwardly what worked best for us. Because this people model is so wonderful. You come to Ghana, you cannot have 11 universities in one campus. It's so strange. So when I came to Ghana, the idea that let me also start something. I told so many people, I won't mention their names. Some of them end up by working with me again. But they said, well, you have been to America and with these crazy ideas. American people are always crazy. You want to show us that you have been to America. That's why you are crazy about you want to have a university.
And they gave it no chance.
And some even said, you haven't taught in a university. How can you create a university? Wow. So I didn't get the step because I had learned OD to the international level. So I know how change can be resisted. I know how initiative can be blocked. I know how bureaucracy is used to tarnish initiatives. I know how sometimes leaders can be ignorant. And I know how to use OD to manage people. I know how to empower people. I know how to create a safe environment, and I know how to innovate. And that's the essence of OD. OD is all about all this thing, how to create a new, how to innovate, how to manage people, how to create systems, how to respond. I was able to manage all this, and I started the process. So I picked private and public universities and study their structures and what they are doing, and eventually I settled on UDS. I look at UDS, their system was much more practical compared to the other traditional universities. I look at the interventions they provide for students, and they were much more friendly to the OD facilitation. So I look at UDS and I saw that, yeah, I'm one of them. I started some of the curriculum with them, and I had trained people who are lecturers in UDS. So it was much more easier to affiliate with UDS, and that's how we got affiliated with the University for Development Studies.
Wow. So
actually, I will take this opportunity to thank Professor Gabriel Ayumtai. Prof, if you are listening, congrats. It's based on your work and seeing what was in me and allowing me to show it to you that Ghana is now benefiting OD. We are the premier OD
university,
yes, in Africa, and what we do is purely facilitation, experiential learning. You cannot find what we are doing in any university in Ghana or in Africa.
We'll come to talk a lot more about CCOD, education. Did you do your national service?
Yes, in between the period I was sent to the Kintampo as a community development officer. Yes, actually those days, because there was no technology, you can easily just move to the office, get the form filled, and do your survey and continue your work. Because I was trained directly employed by the Ministry of Local Government.
So that's where I'm coming now.
Yes, so I did it in Kintampo. Yeah.
And then did you work, for the government? Have you been a civil servant before?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I was directly posted to Kintampo. I did my service and worked there before I joined World Vision in Atebubu. From World Vision in Atebubu to Kumasi. From Kumasi.
So in civil service.
Yes.
What? I
was the mass education officer.
Okay.
In the department, the then Department of Community Development. We have mass education officers. We go to the community to educate people about development. Yes, how to start a project, how to get government support.
And this would have been very useful. But why? What happened? Because these are the things that don't happen again.
Yeah, I'll come to you. As I said, I'm a very innovative person.
Yes.
So when I was working with the Department of Community Development, World Vision came. Those days they called it PAMS card. It was to eradicate poverty. So it was a program for the eradication of poverty and action. I've forgotten the other. This over 30 years. So I was made the community development officer and the mass education for that project. So we moved to the community to mobilize communities to get a borehole under the PAMS card, and mobilize women group to get credit facilities, and mobilize farmers. Those days we introduced some maize. It was called Obatampa. It was a hybrid maize. We used to call it agricultural maize, agric maize. So that was my work. So World Vision came to do feasibility study in the Brown, and then I was made the secretary to the group. So after we finished the feasibility study and I did a presentation in Atebubu, I was, how this NGO works. I was pushed. So I left the district assembly work and joined World Vision in Atebubu. Actually, I was one of the earliest who started what they call family sponsorship program. Now they call it child sponsorship. World Vision, but that time it was family sponsorship. So we go to a family, profile the family and send to the US or Canada or any other developed economy, and then the rich families can support that family. So that's what I was doing, I was also there for a short time, and I got another appointment in Kumasi to work with another environmental NGO. So actually, that's what took me to Kumasi. So I stayed in Kumasi for 12 years.
What was this environmental NGO called? It
was called Rural Development College. The branch of the rural development I attended. So we call it Rural Development Youth Association. So I was then the community development officer then. So I worked in all the districts in Ashanti region. That time there were about 18 districts. Today there are over 35 districts also. So I work in all the districts, including Bravo. That was a community development. So I had the opportunity, once working with the NGO, I had the opportunity. That's where I was able to educate myself from all these 6 public universities I talk about. Now, when I was with the NGO college, then I'll do a lot of work for the church, the Catholic Church. So as part of my extra activities I was doing for the church, I got into the Kumasi Development Committee, the Archdiocese Development Committee, and it's the committee that is in charge of development, infrastructure, agriculture, everything. And because of my background, I had the opportunity to work there. So when I worked there, I decided that, okay, I have experience from government, experience from World Vision, experience from the church, and I had a vision that I want to form my own NGO. So I formed the NGO called Mission of Hope for Society Foundation. So it's still there, it's still alive now. That's the NGO that gave birth to the university.
Wow. And it's still under your care?
Yeah, it's still under. I'm still the founder and the CEO of the Mission of Hope for Society.
So how do I get a branch of it here in Canada? Is it here?
We have been here several years, but now we are not here. We are in Bumpugu. We are in Wale.
But why not in Yendi?
Yes, if you want, yes.
That's what I want.
We'll come back.
You know, sometimes Yendi has been deprived of so many things, and I'm interested in this one.
Wow. And so fortunately, I have 2 people from Yendi who are working with me.
So from here, I'm going to have to put so much pressure on you.
Yes.
To open a branch in Yendi.
You're welcome.
Even before I know what you do, I believe NGOs always help people.
Yes.
And so I believe that when you set a branch in Yendi, Yendi people are going to have
no problem.
Their fair share.
I can assure you.
Thank you so much.
God willing, a year around this time.
If it doesn't happen, Yendi people
hold you accountable.
Thank you so much, sir. All right. So, but what does the NGO do?
Yes, a lot of things. A lot of things. We are into development work, human rights, education, social development, a lot. The NGO has worked in 40 districts in Ghana before, and currently we are working in 25 districts in Ghana. All that we are doing is helping communities to develop, helping communities to identify their strength they have. Sometimes they don't even need funding outside. They have everything within, but they don't know. So
it just takes a little.
Exactly, it takes a little coaching, support, empowerment, and they are able to see within them so many things around that can be converted into socio-economic intervention, can meet their health needs, even their spiritual needs.
Wow.
So many things. So the NGO, having worked for 7 years, and it was the NGO I used to spread all over the country, and I had the research, and when I went to US and finished the PhD, I decided that okay, the NGO, I will develop a new team and mentor them. I'm almost exiting now. My junior brother is almost taking charge. Yes, and I'm exiting into the academia and international consulting.
So you can
yes, a lot more. Even the university now, I'm now mentoring people, and I'm bringing on board other professors who have retired to come and support the young people to grow to become senior lecturers. So by the time those professors are 70 years, and they have gone to just have their retirement, full retirement rest, those young people would have been senior lecturers and PhD holders, and they would take over the university. I want to do international consulting.
Wow. And we'll come back to talk a little more about how the NGO metamorphosed into CCOD, and then we'll talk about CCOD's matters, and then we can conclude on this particular session. Then we will be back shortly after this commercial break.
Unkuran yel ne tama yibu wada ka totol ne tama ninta atmaitu wada marungona bisin panu na abul noni man purgu dalir no kuma ka dalir bionia bolan zangin wulsu lugun shadun tuni kwenta da Absonic Motors lala da simanya humura waste contacts and motors polumba fese moto man purgu zaban nganya banko sira Absonic Motor na akpatuga tuga bamal Absonic mapuka kama 110-9 110-80 110-88 110-3 anta tabli Jaguar lala no ka totomal Absonic alob kama 125-30 Batman Kaninya 125-50 Kamal Absonic Jungle Kama 125-19 125-18 125-8 and the GY-3 the GY-7 Motokin Sumanyala Ampiani Kama 150Z8-20AA Kakanya Helping Gia 150Z8-28 Kakanya Simple Gia 150Z8-200 200Z8-8 Shanfai Motokia Gwanyala Ampiani Kama 25 horsepower 22 horsepower 28 horsepower Absonic Motor kwatuwa kam kibora kwemna beni anta tabal TSZ siamani da moto tsane tirin suka sebisiga hal ne goya biyan yo hal si fese motos nyara bambe North East region na lergu dundong yi gamba ancha ta bela inu tiru na lergu ki yi wa gamba ta bela inu za
Right, I am most grateful to you for staying with me on my Northern Nigeria Sagani Tv. My name is Gabriel. Today I'm with Dr. Benaku, and he is the founder of CCOD, founder of an NGO mission, blah blah blah. It's a very long name, and so many things, like I said. And we are learning a lot from him. For a man to be able to organize himself and other people to set up a university, it's not an easy thing. And so we are now coming to talk about CCOD. CCOD is Center for
College.
College for
Community Organizational
Organizational Development.
Organizational Development.
Organizational Development.
Yeah.
Yes, and so it's a university. And you started an NGO.
Yeah.
Then somehow you felt that there was the need for you to come with a whole university.
Yeah.
What happened? Was it a revelation from God or something that you had planned for so long?
Yeah, both. As I told you, from my early training, I was taught humility.
Yeah.
I was taught sharing.
Yeah.
I was taught to help. And so that has transformed my life and added value to my education that I had with the different public and private universities across the world.
Okay.
So what's prompted me to create the university was that when I formed the NGO, Mission of Hope for Society Foundation, after 7 years, I went to the US and I had some partners who wanted to have the office in the US.
Okay.
And the name was too long. So it was quite Mehoso International.
Okay.
So when I came back to Ghana, we re-registered it as Mehoso International, which is an abbreviation of the Mission of Hope for Society Foundation.
Okay.
So Mehoso International Foundation. And I established the office in the US. So they were supporting us from the US office to whatever we were doing. Then I told you as part of Mehoso work was training, capacity building. So I noticed that because I was having development background and I had OD background, anything I did with the communities, I see sustainable outcome.
Okay.
Anything I did for NGOs, I see sustainable outcome. And anything I did with the local government, the district assembly, I see great impact. So after graduating with the Atlantic International University in Florida, my research already created the curriculum for organization development, Bachelor of Science in Organization Development and Master of Science in Organization Development. So between 2012 to 2016, I was working with UDS and the Institute of Organization Development in US and the National Accreditation. Now it's called GTEC, Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. So accreditation, national accreditation is now, there's a new law now. So I was working with these bodies to get this knowledge, which is new in Ghana and Africa. There was no curriculum on the Bachelor of Science in Organization Development. And there was no MSc in Ghana anywhere on MSc Organization Development. So I made it a research one, which is now stretched into 6 programs. So when I did that and we got the accreditation affiliated to UDS, we ran the program for 4 years, and now we have gone through we are going through the re-accreditation for 6 programs now. And then UDS, we have re-signed the affiliation again for the next 5 years. So for the next 5 years, UDS is still going to mentor us and issue the OD certificates.
So now you have 6 programs.
Yes, we have 6 programs.
Have you developed another model?
We have developed new models,
and how many
which are going to be rolled out very soon.
How many?
We have diploma in community and organizational development. We have Bachelor of Science in community and organizational development. We have postgraduate diploma in organizational development. We have Master of Science in organizational development, and then we have MPhil organizational development, and then we have MSc private sector development. So these are the 2 programs have metamorphosed into 5 programs plus a new program we are introducing now. So by the arrangement, we will officially launch these new programs in February. And everywhere in the world, people will get to know about all these new programs.
This is interesting. But when we say accredited to UDS, affiliated to UDS, it means that when you give out your certificate, it bears UDS.
Yes, there's an arrangement in the law that a private college like ours cannot stand on your own. You don't have the capacity. You have not been in academia before. You need to be mentored by the one that is already capacitated to be able to do that. So they are mentoring us. We have finished phase 1. We are moved to phase 2, and we are anticipating that by 2025 we'll be on our own as a university.
But
for now, every academic program, we are not affiliated to any other university apart from UDS. The only arrangement we have is that my former institute in the US issue a professional certificate to our student. So when you have Bachelor of Science in Organization Development, you also have Organization Development Professional Certificate. If you have Master of Science, you also have a certified OD certificate, so that you are already marketable before you graduate. And our model is entirely different, even though we are affiliated with UDL, but UDL allow us to use our model, which is different. We use what we call the action research. So a research that is implementable, not a research they mobilize students across the regions to feed into the database at our main campus.
So internally here, where are you? And do you have a campus here, like where people can...
Internally here, we have mobilization centers. So we have Tattoo. We have an arrangement with Tattoo. So some of their graduates, for example, those who have HND and they want to do top up. So we have an arrangement with Tattoo. So those students can easily enroll into our program and do a top up. Then we also have an arrangement with the UDS, the city campus, sometime to allow students to come there to get the program.
Wow, this is interesting, and I am loving it. Now, you've already told us the vision. By 2025, you want to be a full-fledged university.
Yeah. And
we wish you all the best.
Yeah.
And I believe that from where you have started and how you've been able to get it, to carry it to this particular point, God, I believe, is going to be something easier for you.
Yes.
But now let's come to talking about youth and society.
Yes.
You know, there are a lot of us who don't even believe that we can get to some of the things that you have done.
Yeah.
You know, was it always like as a young age? Did you always believe that, look, me, I will open a university one day? Or is it hard work, perseverance? How did you do it?
Yes, I think it's parents need to guide their walls. I did it. My father was an illiterate. My mother is an illiterate. But out of how I was trained to care for others, I also get people to help me. As I care for others, others also help me. Exactly. So we are not teaching young people today on humility and service, volunteerism. We are not teaching. In fact, I tried to research into a lot of curricula, and I'm not seeing the program called volunteerism. And yet we are training graduates to be looking for jobs. That's a wrong approach. I don't want to blame any tertiary institution, but I think that we are overwhelmed with the numbers we get in tertiary institution, and therefore we are not using the right training approach to help young people to create ideas. Because of the hardship I went through, it helped me to think what I can do. And by the grace of God, anything I think about it, I'm able to have the commitment to drive it. So young people must learn to be self-reliant. That's a very key thing, self-reliant. We must learn, and learn to be self-reliant means patience. You need to be very patient. You need to learn. All these stories I told you has not been rosy, because it has been up and down. Because schooling, working,
taking care of the
family, traveling outside Ghana, and sometimes I see greener pastures. I see how can you be in the US and you return? How can you go to Germany and you return? So I have to despise staying there for myself and think about my siblings and the larger family and society. The other thing is passion. If you want to be a great entrepreneur, you must be very passionate about helping people. You see, as I help you get this water to drink all the time, I'm paid indirectly in other means. Because I'm providing a service to you, I'm also paid by others for providing the service to you. So I'm very passionate in helping people. And the more I help people, I also get help from others. So passion is something that young people must develop. What do you want to do? Be very consistent about it and do it well. You will get help. The other thing young people must do, which they don't do, is self-gratification. They want quick results. If you want quick results, you get into problem. But if you humble yourself, people will show you the keys of success. I've had a lot of discussion with Latif, and because of his demeanor and because of his willingness to serve society, I discussed with him about what I think I can do personally for him. Because of his approach, I'm a media person, but I see his approach in getting clients, in getting projects done, And I said, oh, this is a different person. Let us push him. So when young people create that patience and humble themselves to work with people, you will get good leaders. There are bad leaders anyway.
Yeah.
There are even leaders who are jealous about other people's progress. Those are not the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about leaders, true leaders who want to inspire young people. True leaders who want to support the growth of youth. And true leaders who want to support entrepreneurship. So when you humble yourself and you are patient and you self gratification, you will be able to get help to project the ideas you want to promote. And when you create an idea that is loved by people and people use it, that's entrepreneurship.
Wow.
Entrepreneurship is all about creating an idea and let people use the idea and to their benefit. And that's entrepreneurship. Yeah. So I chose the idea of OD education in Africa. And I started with 6 students. Now we have over 500 students. Wow. So within 7 years. And we have passed out over 500 students already. Yeah. So they like it and they bring other people and they also like it and they also bring other people to keep growing. So when you create an idea that is liked by people and they use it, that's entrepreneurship. You get paid for what you have provided and they also get it for their service, whatever they want to do with it. And that is what the youth in Ghana must learn. That be humble, be passionate about what you want to do,
have
self-gratification. Just be patient. Just go through the experience. One day your Messiah will just drop in and cushion you to project those great ideas you have and support you, and you become valuable to society. And that's how you grow into multi-million business or companies.
Wow, this is interesting, and if you haven't learned anything from this, especially in this very last sentences, then you will never learn anything again. But before I let you go, we just have some few minutes, and maybe we have just a minute or two.
Yeah.
How many wives and kids do you have?
I only have 5 children. I have a wife and 5 children, and my wife tells me that she still needs one more
child.
So we are praying to God to happen. Okay. My first daughter just finished SS, and she was part of the National Science and Maths quiz. They went through the second stage, that's the quarterfinals, and Notre Dame girls. Yes, so she now wants to be a medical doctor.
That's fine.
I couldn't.
Yes,
so she wants to be a medical doctor.
One later,
yes.
You have achieved what you want
to achieve
after all.
Yes.
That's great. Doc, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, and God bless you.
It's been enterprising.
Yes.
Talking to you. I have learned a lot. And I just believe and hope that my viewers out there are also learning quite a lot from Doc.
Yeah.
And CCOD is there for all of us, wherever you are. If you want to have organizational development knowledge, I think there's nowhere you can get it here in Ghana right about now except at CCOD.
Yeah.
Just Google about organizational development and you get to know more on it, and the more you get to learn about it, the more you will believe that you need that education in order to be able to organize yourself very well, your family, your society, and your businesses, so that at least it can flourish and give you better benefits in future. It's been wonderful talking to Doc, and trust me, I can only say thank you, the viewers out there, for always monitoring, because if we film and bring it and you don't watch, then there's no program. Thank you so much for making us #1.